Hello, my name is Eirik Thorsgaard. I live at 28035 Andy Riggs Road, Grand Ronde, Oregon, 97347. A little bit outside of your guys' jurisdiction. I'm here representing the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde. I'm a tribal member there, as well as a cultural protection coordinator and interim tribal historic preservation officer. My job is specifically to look and to work with state and federal agencies to protect cultural resources. Washington County is, like every other county in Oregon, non-compliant with Goal 5. The reality is there's a great deal of archaeological, cultural, and historical resources that are scattered throughout the areas that are under consideration for the new urban growth boundaries. In order for the county to take these moves, it needs to take into consideration those resources that already exist. Of specific interest to the tribe right now is urban UR 2A and 2B. I have some photographs here, which I will enter into the record after I'm done speaking, that show archaeological resources that are actually found in that area. Additionally, there's 2 known burials in the location. In addition to that, having gotten a better look at the maps that are going on now, which I did not have access to until today, I can tell you that there's a great deal of archaeological resources that need to be taken into consideration during this proposal. If the county decides to move these urban growth boundaries, by no means take into consideration that the tribe's anti-growth. By all means, come down to Spirit Mountain Casino. You can see how much we've done in 25 years. But having said that, we are interested in every agency and municipality doing it in a sustainable manner that not only takes into consideration the local groups, agencies, but as well as tribal concerns. As a sovereign that ceded this land in January 22nd, 1855, we never ceded our rights over our burials or over our cultural material that we left in location. As such, those things are still our responsibilities. And with that in mind, we're interested in partnering with Washington County and Metro and any other agency that's interested to make sure that those things are addressed and dealt with in an adequate manner. There are state and federal laws that maintain those responsibilities on the agencies that have the land holdings. Washington County, and specifically this board, has a responsibility to look into those things. And I look forward to working with the technical staff as well as watching all of the commissioners here meet with the tribal council to discuss these issues in further detail and to ensure that tribal concerns are met and that we can partner together in the future on these projects as well as others in the future. Thank you.
Great. Eric, let me ask you, you're a perfect person to ask the question because you're going to be a great resource to us, I can tell, and I appreciate that. As far as the tribal concerns are for these sacred sites, special sites, for example, we already have a lot of area within the urban area that might not be developed. There are areas everybody considers from time to time for roads and so forth. Given the federal and state laws, my first question is, is there a process in place to protect these sites regardless of whether they're in or out of an urban area?
Yes, there are. However, it takes the responsibility of individual agencies to identify them and to work to protect them, which is really the crux. Goal 5, as we're all aware, is a law that has no teeth to it, but additionally it has no funding attached to it in order to allow agencies to do the work. The only county in Oregon that actually has met Goal 5 is Coos County, and the way they did that was by specifically partnering with the Coquille Indian Tribe and developing probability charts and maps that allowed the cities and county to identify areas of specific interest to tribal concerns and to mitigate those during construction processes. When they don't, such as areas in downtown Bandon, if anyone's been to Bandon, that entire area was a village that's been inhabited for over 1,200 years. And has been systematically destroyed by tsunamis and rebuilt at least 7 times to my awareness. So when you have those locations, you have a great deal of potential for burials. Burials, speaking as an archaeologist, are very, very contentious. There's nothing worse than to have a bunch of tribal elders coming down screaming about how their elders are being disrespected, and there's nothing more infuriating than seeing lawsuits get thrown about it, and they can be extremely expensive if they're not dealt with in the forefront. Having said that, between us and the State Historic Preservation Office, as well as the different agencies under the Washington County, those things can be identified. In working in conjunction with the locals who are obviously sitting behind me, these places can be identified, including ones that aren't known. The photographs I have here is a site that was identified by the University of Oregon, was never forwarded to the State Historic Preservation Officer, and I only became aware of this site 2 days ago. I know that there's 5 other individuals that live inside of UR2A that have collections that they want me to look at in order to get direct coordinates and have them listed on the State Historic Preservation Office databases. Those things all create complications.
All right. Is that area, in fact, in the broad sense, not just that area, but even broader, aboriginal to the Grand Ronde, or are there other tribes
that area was ceded by the Atflaati or Tualatin Kalapuya people, who are relocated to 2 locations, the Grand Ronde Reservation and the Siletz Reservation. Siletz has not come and spoken on behalf of these issues. I'm not sure whether or not they will. That would be up to their council and their decision-making process. As for Grand Ronde, I was specifically tasked by our tribal council to come and speak before you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Comment, Chair. First of all, thank you, Eric. We've spoken on one occasion about this issue. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think also the Nez Perce and the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs also have.
Yes, Warm Springs considers this area usual and accustomed territories. It's a location that they used to come to trade and interact with the locals. It wasn't specifically ceded by them because they didn't have permanent villages here. The Nez Perce tribe, or Nimipu people, they actually have several burials of folks down here as well in the area in Washington County. Their exact locations are not necessarily known by myself. I may have them on databases, but the Nez Perce people are aware of them, and my understanding is that they're supposed to be talking with some locals to re-identify where those are at. Those are 2 tribes that you definitely don't want to get on your bad side dealing with burials. So just to say it.
And just for the record, tomorrow night I will be meeting with some of the tribal members from the Nez Perce.
Good. Tell them hello.
I will.
Thank you, Eric.
All right, thank you.
Being here.